them as they jump out of the ground. If you're fast enough, you should be able to stay ahead of them just barely enough in order not to get hit. If that wasn't enough, on the next screen, it's now time for another boss battle, and it's time to re-equip the power ring. Walk over to the right and start attacking. The fire enemy is this large worm-type dragon that will pop out of the ground and start moving around. Jump back and forth to try to hit it while you're jumping in order to avoid standing directly in its line of fire. You can only hurt it in the head of the enemy, and it will take you a little bit in order to get used to actually doing damage. If you get low on health at any point during the battle, of course use that medical herb that we picked up. Once he's taken care of, thankfully though, we do get a replenishment of health, as well as some extra EXP. We also get the stone idol from this battle. What the stone idol is going to allow us to do is freeze the lava to the right of where we first dropped down into the volcano. This will allow us to go over it and continue on into the dungeon. So now we have to do some backtracking. First off though, we have to backtrack through the jumping fire room. And as you can see, the best strategy for this is to jump just ahead of where they're going to pop up, and that way you should be able to jump over their arch. Or, if you take your time slowly, you can duck under and be right underneath the arc of their jump as well. Thankfully though, there is a medical herb still that we can pick up, so if you do get beat up by that flame on that level, as long as you can get past that screen, you should be able to replenish your health coming up. If you've taken a decent amount of damage like I have, it's a good idea to come back to the herb, pick up another one, and use the one you currently have. After we heal up, we're now in the first room again of the volcano area, and we're going to be heading to the right this time. Had you gone over there the first time, you would have ended up running into that pool of lava, which you couldn't have been able to cross at the time. Just be very careful once again of the fireballs jumping out of the background towards the foreground, so that you can try to avoid accidentally getting hit too much. Now that we have that stone idol in our possession, the lava stream here will actually freeze up, allowing us to go across it. The next screen is very easy to contend with, as we have basically the same enemies. There's no fire jumping out of the background, or any fire jumping up in different patterns. So, just work your way across, taking out the bugs by ducking down, and taking out the firebirds as they appear in front of you. On this screen we have the same enemies to contend with. Just try to keep your health up relatively high, because you want to make sure that you have a good amount left, since we do have a boss battle coming up. Thankfully though, since we were able to pick up another herb, that shouldn't be too much trouble. As we climb up these ruined stairs, we're now out of the volcano, and we have a cutscene.
I'm glad to see you're safe. Someone's coming! Quick, hide!
I could have sworn I heard someone. Chester, what's going on? It's nothing. but I thought I heard someone. It must have been my imagination.
Well, be more careful. Tell me, Chester, what will you do about Brother Pierre?
He seems to be on to us. So I'm going to lock him up in the dungeon of Valestein Castle.
Mr. Merlin,
Yes?
the fire dragon Girin has been slain.
What? I'll be there immediately. Chester, I don't see how that little boy can give you such a hard time.
I'm very sorry.
It seems like they've gone. I don't know, but it gives me the creeps. Hey, what's that in the dark? It could be some kind of mechanism. I think this is the way to find the statue. I remember a story my brother used to tell me. He would talk of a flying monster that lived in volcano ruins. A monster that guarded a magical statue. Why? I am the one who brought you here. I can't let you face this danger alone. Thank you. All right, but... Adol, be careful.
After our conversation with Elena is over, enter the newly created place, walk over to the right for the next boss battle. Be sure when you enter the screen to equip the power ring or the shield ring, whichever one is your preference. Then get ready to start attacking the flying dragon. The best place for this is going to be this middle area, this middle rock sticking up in the ground. Usually what I like to do is climb up it, attack a few times, then jump away when he starts spraying out his fireballs. This will give you a good amount of chance to actually get a lot of hits on him very easily. Sometimes he'll come up right next to the rock, allowing you to slash in a whole lot of shots real fast at him. But for the most part, you're probably going to have to do a jump attack in order to actually hit him. But if you're lucky enough to get him to come by, be sure to take this opportunity seriously and start delivering a lot of fast hits. If for some reason in the battle, once again, we get low on health, always use that herb, but for the most part, this battle is relatively easy to tell his pattern and be able to dodge his main attack. Once you deliver the final blow, we get our next statue. After we have the moon statue from defeating the boss, go back to the two areas that we were on before and we'll run into an old friend.
I'm surprised you've come back alive. I guess I underestimated you. It looks like I'll have to deal with you personally.
Chester, no!
Elena, what are you doing here?
I asked Adol to stop you from doing any more harm. Please, stop! Why are those statues so important to you?
It's my duty. I must get revenge. Surely you remember what happened that day? Adol, just leave me alone. I don't want to fight.
Let's go back to the village, Adol.
After that whole ordeal, we're now back in Serena.
Adol,
I glad to see you. I'm leaving for a while. I must climb Mount Secco. I seek my old spiritual master who lives there. I could be gone a long time. Adol, Mayor Grady gave me a message for you. He must see you. It's urgent. His house is beside the inn.
Dogi tells us that he's actually going to visit a friend. We have a few stops that we have to make before we're actually able to go out of the town as well. Start off by entering this house for another cutscene.
Adol, my boy, I'm glad you have come. Look what has happened, young'un. Someone broke in while I was gone. They sure made a mess of my home, but nothing is missing. I think they were thugs from Valestein Castle. They are after the statue you found in Tigray Mine, my boy, and for some reason they thought I had it. If the statue has something to do with all the creatures that have been roaming around lately, then you will be in danger. But we still need your help. You are a great swordsman, and I will put the trust of the entire town in you. What do you say, young'un? Are you game? That's the spirit, Adol, my boy. Here's the first thing I would like you to do. You remember the locked door you found in the mine? Well, it stays locked, because beyond it are pits with many fierce monsters. I've heard old stories about that place, and they say another statue rests somewhere inside. I've already sent a party of miners there, my boy, and I would like you to join them in a search for the magic statue. Here, take this with you, young'un. I hope you will find it useful.
After talking to Grady, who actually gives us our next quest, which is to go back in the Tigray Quarry, he also gives us the Time Ring, which will actually slow down enemies. We won't be using it much throughout the game, if at all. We also are going to stop by the item shop in order to purchase ourselves some more ring ability. If you need another medical herb, be sure to pick that up as well while you're here. Also, since we do have a little bit of gold saved up at this point, we can actually buy our next sword, the broadsword. If you're able to have enough to buy it, be sure to equip it before heading out of town and heading back to Tigray Quarry. Once back in Tigray Quarry, continue working your way through the screen until you get to the main mineshaft area. The locked door that we're trying to get to is the one that was located right next to the chest that had the power ring. Once back here, ignore the enemies if you would like, or take them out for a little bit of experience. At this point though, they're not going to give us a whole lot compared to some of the later enemies, and work your way to the bottom of this long mine shaft. In this area of the quarry, there's going to be some new enemies, so you're going to have to be very careful while starting our way through this area. Thankfully though, if you had enough money in order to buy the broadsword, and you've leveled up just a little bit like I have, most of these enemies are going to only take one or so hits in order to take them out. Jump over the broken gap in the planks in order to come over to this screen in order to grab this chest, which contains the crystal. If you give the shiny crystal to the item shop owner, this will actually unlock a new item for you to buy, the medicine. The medicine will actually allow you to replenish your ring ability anywhere you're at. Go through the broken plank and head down here, being sure to be very careful to take out the enemies as you fall down.